What's going on? I'm back at it with another one. Listen, if you got small children and y'all are out in the parking lot, y'all about to cross the street or whatever, make sure that you're holding their hands at all times. Or if you have to, pick them up and carry them across the street or out of the road. I know that should be common sense, but I think it's worth repeating because it's just so easy to get distracted. This next situation, I think, is horrible, and perhaps the adults. The adults should have been paying more attention, but what they did after that is just unbelievable. So let's check this one out.
Is investigating a deadly accident involving a toddler and an Uber driver.
It happened yesterday at an apartment complex off Waverly and Greenbrier Colony Drive. That's in North Harris County. Investigators say the Uber driver hit the toddler and the girl's family, then proceeded to assault the driver. Troy Kless joins us live this evening with what else he's been able to learn. Troy?
Yeah, Mia, the toddler and her family were getting out of the SUV in the parking lot of this apartment complex behind me. Now, the driver told investigators that he didn't see the girl when he moved forward, and surveillance video captured the entire ordeal. And we want to warn you that it is hard to watch, although we freeze the video moments before the girl is hit.
It's just an unfortunate tragedy at this point.
On Sunday afternoon, an Uber driver was dropping off passengers at this apartment complex on Waverly Drive. Surveillance video shows an adult and a child exit the SUV from the driver's side, while an adult and another child exit from the passenger side.
The adult walked ahead thinking the child was right behind her. Unfortunately, she wasn't. When the Uber driver saw the female adult clear at a couple of feet, he began to drive forward to turn around.
After the child was hit, deputies say the driver stops and the relatives began assaulting the driver. Uber says in a statement the details of what's been reported is heartbreaking and our thoughts go out to the victim's family. We have removed the driver's access to the platform while this investigation is ongoing. Neighbors at the apartment complex tried to help.
And when I came out, I seen it, and the first thing I said was just give me my keys, because I don't want to wait on no ambulance.
The Harris County Sheriff's Office says the child was with two adult relatives. Investigators say others can prevent a tragedy by being alert.
If it's minor children and adults are accompanying them, hold their hand until you get to a safe place. It's just things that we have to be cognizant of. I realize.
The Sheriff's Office and the District Attorney's Office were on scene investigating on Sunday. Now, they say that the driver is cooperating and did not show any signs of impairment. At this point, no charges have been filed yet, but we'll keep you updated on the latest in this investigation. Live in North Harris County, Troy Kless, KHOU 11 News.
A difficult story to share along with those circumstances. Troy, thank you.
All right, man. So, yeah, you saw what was going on there. But here's my thing. The adult that got out on the passenger side with the child should have made sure that the child cleared the vehicle. I do think that this was an accident and it wasn't intentional. I mean, because of a vehicle like an SUV, it sits up higher than a normal car, and so when you look over the hood, you're not going to see a toddler at that height. I mean, a child at that height, right there in front of the vehicle, you're not going to see them. But an already bad situation, it's already a bad situation, and then to make things worse, they beat up the driver. I mean, it's ridiculous because this was a preventable situation. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the one that got out the car, the adult that got out on the passenger side, should have made sure that child wasn't in front of the SUV, or at least if you're not going to hold their hands or whatever, then make sure that they're in front of you. Let them go first, or whatever. But children, they don't know anything about danger, or children that age. I see stuff like this all the time when I go to the grocery store where, people just let their kids just run wild in the parking lots. And luckily I haven't seen anybody get hurt, but it has come close a couple of times. And the parents are there either on the phone, which I think is the most common thing that I've seen. They're on the phone, wrapped up in whatever it is that they got going on, to where they don't even know what their kids are doing. And then I've seen some where they're not on the phone or anything like that, and they just let the kids just run wild. But for me as a parent, I always try to keep my kids or make my kids keep up with me when we're out walking. That way they're not behind or too far ahead. They're always within arm's reach, because things can happen too if your kids are too far ahead of you. My kids, they're a little bit older, but in this situation, we're talking about a 1-year-old. A toddler really doesn't understand the dangers of being in the street or being in the path of a vehicle. And I think at that age, the shiny ball syndrome level is extremely high. So you got to take the necessary steps in order to ensure that they're safe. You can't take a hands-off approach when it comes to them. But I know that driver now. I know the driver, he's going to have to live with this for the rest of his life. And then, of course, the family, it's just something that just nobody ever wants to see happen. But it was an accident, I think. And I don't think it was done on purpose. But, as parents, when it comes to these kids, you got to keep your eye on them, because things can happen so fast. But to fight the driver, yeah, you could be upset. But I think when you're in the thick of it, your first priority should be getting help, dialing 911, or performing CPR if that child's unresponsive. But fighting the Uber driver when there's an emergency situation at hand, an emergency situation like that, fighting the Uber driver, that's not going to solve anything, because you're working against the clock at that point. So that, I think, was just uncalled for. And this situation, it's unfortunate. And I think people just need to kind of slow down and don't get in such a hurry to get from point A to point B, to where you're not even focusing on your children. Don't be in such a hurry to do whatever it is that you got your mind on, that you're not watching your kids. All those other things that you're thinking about, that can wait until you know for sure that your kids are squared away. So that's just my 2 cents on it. And y'all stay safe. Take care. Peace.